What's up, everyone? One of the ways I one of the ways I interpret tarot is by doing something that I call intuitive storytelling, and that just means that I look at the images, the colors, the symbols in the picture on the card, and tell a story about the characters in that card. So I'm going to be doing that today using the Six of Wands. So in the regular Rider-Waite tarot, the Six of Wands looks like this. It looks like someone sitting on a horse holding a wand with a wreath on it. And in the background, there are five other wands. Sometimes there are people in the background as well, kind of like looking at this person who has the wreath. But in this card, which is from the Pulp Girls Tarot, all you can see is the wands and the main character and the horse. I also have a representation from the Everyday Tarot, which is you can see in the background like one person's head and a couple of other hands. I'm also using the Black Tarot, which is a very, very different interpretation, as well as the Tarot of the Orishas, which is yet another really, really different interpretation. So I'm just going to start off with the card from the Tarot of the Orishas and tell you a story about the characters in this image. But before I get started, I'll just give a little bit of background about the Six of Wands. The cards in the tarot that have numbers, so like a number and a suit, these are part of the minor arcana. These are the minor everyday experiences that we tend to have. And it's actually not really difficult to do this kind of interpretation because the minor arcana represent experiences that we all go through. So you can kind of put yourself in the shoes of one of these characters to help you make an interpretation if that supports you. Also, please enjoy my very shiny forehead. So in the Six of Wands, in the Tarot of the Orishas, you see that there's one character who's really prominent in the picture, and then it's a little bit difficult to see, and I believe that these images were drawn purposefully to be a little bit more difficult to like make out the figures. But this character seems to be victorious. He's holding two wands with fire and sort of in celebration of like a communal win. Now, in the background, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other men, and then holding one woman. Let me make sure I'm counting that correctly. Yeah, there's 5 other men in the background, and there's one woman that they're holding, and she's wearing a red like cloth covering her naked body. And in the very background, there is like a beast or a dragon that they've captured in some sort of net. So the story that I like to tell is it's nighttime. So this is a victory that these people have had to work all day in order to achieve. This is something that this is like a really difficult struggle that their entire community has had to collaborate and work together and be in harmony with in order to achieve that that victory. But there's one person who's kind of in the foreground as if he kind of did all the work. And the Six of Wands is a representation of being recognized by your community. It's a card that represents feeling confident and feeling victorious, kind of like moving into another level of achievement. So perhaps this person, as you can see, they're all wearing like white loincloths, and they're all on the same level, but this person stands out. He's not holding one torch, he's holding two. So that indicates to me that there's something he's done. Maybe he just did a little extra. Maybe he's the one who like rang the bell, like, we gotta go. She needs our help. We need to save this woman. Another story that I intuitively get from this image is perhaps the village has been really lacking like feminine energy, kind of like the flowing sensuality that feminine energy brings, that women contribute to a environment. And it might have just been feeling stale, kind of like, what do they call it when you go to a party and it's like all men, sausage fest, boom. So maybe the community has just been kind of feeling like sausagey and not really balanced in the way that, you know, it just hasn't even been like smelling good. Like a woman's perfume has been missing, a woman's essence, a woman's touch, the softness that women bring to environments. So also the spice that women bring to environments may just be lacking in that in the environment. And this person is the one who brought attention to that need. This person is the one who brought attention. It's also bringing the story of Fiona in the castle in Shrek. I just watched Shrek recently. Shout out to any Tauruses in the room right now. But it just brings to mind that energy of Fiona being locked in her castle in that tower, and Shrek being the one person who had the courage to go and retrieve her, and even the one person to have the courage to tell the other people, like, y'all are slacking, we're obviously missing out on something, there's something missing from this environment, and I want to be the one who leads the charge in retrieving that energy that's missing. So what's coming to mind intuitively is these people in the back could, they could have a little bit of like hater energy toward this one person who's kind of standing in the front, like, I did it, I got it. Because sometimes when we are victorious, when we win something, when we level up, it can go to our head. That's normal, right? Because we're humans. But if you look in the background, this man is holding one torch. You really can't see it because of how it's drawn. There's also the two guys on the end, they're both holding torches, which are pretty difficult to see. But it's like some people might also want recognition because he didn't work alone. He didn't do this by himself. Clearly, there's people that have helped him, but there's some role. Maybe he just took the lead. He was the person who highlighted the importance, the urgency of getting this really difficult task done. And for that reason, he's the one being recognized. So the Six of Wands also just reminds us that it's a little hot in here, y'all. The Six of Wands also just reminds us that when we are achieving, when we are victorious, there's always like a little bit of negative that comes with the good. We have to take the losses with the wins, if you will. And I do think I'm getting hot, like physically for me as a reader, when I'm talking about fire or wands energy, I do feel the heat in my body. So that's probably another reason why I'm a little hot right now. However, let's take a look at the Six of Wands in a more typical illustration, which is from the Everyday Tarot and the Pulp Girls Tarot. Again, these depictions are based more directly on the Rider-Waite Tarot, which is the very mainstream imagery that we're mostly exposed to in tarot. And as you can see, this person is sitting on a horse. Now, I love that both of these cards depict a female figure, a feminine figure on the horse, because there's so much masculine energy in this depiction right here with the 6 men and the 1 woman and the beast in the background. However, if you look, it's nighttime and it looks like maybe a waning gibbous moon, not completely full, but the moon is like the divine feminine energy that is present in the natural world. So I love that there's very like prominent feminine energy in the Six of Wands. And what stands out to me in this depiction is these cards remind me of the Knights in the tarot. The Knights are all about taking action, having courage, being direct, forthcoming, very like, taking charge, movement, except for the Knight of Pentacles. He's a little different. But the Six of Wands reminding me of the Knight is actually pretty, what's the word for this? I think it's very purposeful, because the person who receives the wreath, this person had the same tool as everybody else. They had the same tool as all these little people in the background. They had the exact same tool. But this person, she came from a place of, what does gold represent? Gold represents like knowing one's worth, knowing that I can do this. Perhaps I wasn't able to do this in the past. Perhaps I was one of these people that didn't have the wreath in the past, but my past does not dictate my future. And because of that mindset, because of that abundant mindset, and because of the effort that went into, learning the skill, perfecting the skill, getting mentorship from other people, trusting in yourself, you're able to even don the gold it's even growing. It's like almost like that worthiness is growing out of her head. And that is what helped her achieve that wreath. Whereas the people behind her may not have been coming from the same place of confidence, or coming from the same place of knowing that it's possible. If one person can do it, so can I. And this is not to judge anyone who may not know or may not come from that space. It's really just to say that when we are passionate, this person's wearing red here, which represents to me passion. It represents drive, like focused energy. When we come from that place, we stand out. You see how she has like a wreath on her head as well? It allows us to stand out from the competition, stand out from the crowd. And because of that, we not only get the prize, but we also get a vehicle, support from nature. Our environment comes around. Like our environment, everything in our environment responds to that energy that we put out and allows us to be victorious in whatever we direct our energy toward. The number 6 is also a number of harmony. So 5 is a number of challenge typically in the tarot, where we have 4, we have stability. And when we lift our foot up and take that next step, sometimes we can meet obstacles, which is very, very natural and normal. But then by the 6, we've overcome that obstacle and we've reached a space of harmony. So I really, really love this depiction, especially because all of these 6 wands can also represent the 5 times that it didn't work and the 6th time in which it did. When we were in harmony with our head, our heart, and our gut were all in harmony. We learned how to use the tools. We faced the obstacles. We asked for help when we needed to. And we trusted ourselves. Again, with that red, we trusted our heart to, I guess like, we trusted our heart to be that extra push over the finish line. If you're someone who works out and you do a lot of cardiovascular exercise, you know that working out and pushing your energy out is also heart work. It's not just about breathing. It's not just about using your body and your muscles in a certain way. It's also about trusting and knowing that when I push myself a little bit further, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be victorious, and I don't have any reason to doubt myself. So the 6 of Wands is also about pushing past self-doubt and not comparing yourself to anyone else, not comparing yourself to the competition. Speaking of that, I'm gonna do a real quick little product placement for my friend's deck, Comparison Killed Creative. If you compare yourself to others, it kills your creativity. And wands are also fire energy, which is like our life force. We use the fire within us to create, right? So just remember not to compare yourself, and that's how you get that horse. Look at that horse, look at that horse, look at that horse. Let's move on to the depiction in the Black Tarot. So the Black Tarot is especially, it's very similar, right? But it's the one that I connect with, I think, the least, just because I didn't really understand like what was going on for real. Like, okay, she's on a carousel, like, what exactly is this? She's wearing blue, like the color is very different from the other cards. We have red in this one. We have red on the female figure in this one. We have gold on this one, but this is the only card that really highlights the color blue, which is more associated with spirituality and emotion and creativity from a softer place. I do think that this card relates more to the Tarot of the Orishas, which is not surprising because they're both they both have like African descent. In the both of these decks are made by people of African descent, and it's not surprising to me that the passion, the fire, comes from a more spiritual and emotional place, and that is highlighted to me by the moon and the blue dark sky. So in the Black Tarot, I really love this 6 of Wands because to me the intuitive story here is that this person may want to be equestrian in the future. She may want to be someone who's like a competitive horse rider. She may want to be a cowgirl, go to a rodeo. She might want to be a cowboy carter. You know what I'm saying? But you can't always jump to the 10. There are levels to this. There are steps, and that is also we're also reminded of that by the Hierophant card in the tarot. We have to do the work, take the test, pass it, and then graduate in order to level up into another place. And I think that this person being depicted riding a horse on carousel is a great example of practice. It's a great example of, you know, maybe before she got on the carousel, she just had, I don't know if you remember the little toy that was like a stick with a horse's head on it, and they just give that to little kids. that is, perhaps she started there and now she's graduated to riding the carousel and she's the only one on here. Maybe this is a carousel that costs a lot of money and she saved a lot up in order to get on this carousel. Perhaps she's the person who's hosting this, this festival or this carnival, and the carousel is like her favorite thing and she's attracting attention, which is also a feature of the Six of Wands, being recognized by community and gaining attention because of your courage and bravery. This is a grown-ass woman, by the way. She looks grown to me. She has a beautiful outfit on that makes her look like a little more fancy, but she's not afraid to play. She doesn't take herself too seriously. And I love that the blue is also kind of light because it indicates to me like leaning into confidence and leaning away from like egotisticalness. Leaning away from feeling the need to like step on other people or push other people down in order to feel uplifted, but instead leaning on the genuine love for the fun of and joy that you get out of what others may call competitive or may call competition. This person, to me, the intuitive story here for me is, I don't got beef with you. You got beef with me. And if you got beef with me, that's your beef. You can have it. I'm vegetarian. So for me, this is a vegetarian. She's someone who has goals far beyond a carousel. But the carousel is how she returns to the fun of what she enjoys doing. For me, as a tarot reader, I know that sometimes I can just lose motivation when it feels like work, when it feels like I'm just doing this because, I have bills to pay or because I'm grown and I need a job. Like, okay, but at the end of the day, it's fun. I enjoy intuitive storytelling. I enjoy looking at pictures, looking at colors, looking at images, and understanding how they relate to everyday life, how they can support my health and wellness and uplift my community. And I love that the poles that these horses are on the carousel are gold, because the golden rod, these are the wands. It makes me think of a channel from the earth up to the divine. So it's kind of like when she humbles herself, when she dons that blue, that gorgeous like aqua colored outfit, and she honors her emotions. She honors the place of innocence that like actual victory and achievement really come from. And she really believes that all I have to do is love this thing and I'm already victorious. I don't even have, there's no winning when you're on a carousel. You're just there to enjoy it. It's not really a competition. It's not a game, but it's like, because I'm joyful, because I love this, because I'm engaging in this in a way that is innocent and fun, and I'm honoring my inner child. I'm also getting really big inner child energy off this card. Because of that, I am a channel directly from the earth up to the divine, and God's love, God's joy, nature. If you don't believe in God, the universe's creativity can flow through me, and that's how I'm able to achieve and feel victorious. That's what's allowing my community to see me, recognize me, and appreciate me. Also, I like that these horses are white and they have like the blue streaks on them. To me, whiteness represents purity, it represents clarity, and it represents like being connected with the breath, like allowing yourself to inhale, exhale, and not rushing a thing. Carousels are also very slow, typically peacefully moving, playful vehicles. And because of that purity, that innocence, and she's just resting on it. But she's also looking like, I'm a G, like I did that. You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of the line from Sweet Honey Bucking on Cowboy Carter. That line that says, AOTY, I ain't win. I'm not studying about them. Come back and, what is it? I'm not studying about them. Took that shit on the chin. Come back and fuck up the pen. So it's like, maybe I lost last time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not an equestrian yet. I don't ride horses for real yet. I'm not like a mechanical bull just yet. But I still enjoy it. I still go back to it. I still practice it because I love it. It comes from a place of purity, of innocence. So that is the Six of Wands, y'all. I'm just going to put all of these cards next to each other to give a real quick overview of what this card is giving. And if you're someone who's doing something that will gain you attention, will gain you recognition, will gain you, victory. Stick with it and remember that it's not about comparing yourself, it's about being authentic. It's about coming from a place of authenticity, of innocence. He's wearing that white. They're all wearing that white, but he's wearing that white. And because he's really tapped into it, really connected to that innocence, that is what makes him victorious. I just posted on my Instagram story the other day and follow me on Instagram if you're not already. I just posted the other day that it's painfully obvious and like annoyingly obvious when we're not living in our truth, when we're not coming from an authentic place. And I believe that the Six of Wands is a really great reminder that when we come from a place of authenticity, not only are we victorious, but it's amazingly inspirational to everyone around us. And the Six of Wands that wreath this victory that we hold in our hands, this is like, the trophy is really being recognized for what we naturally put out into the world. Not how hard we work, not how much we win, not how much we, how often or consistently we do something, but how naturally it flows out of us. So when we naturally flow into doing something that we love, that there is the victory. Thank you so much for your time, and I will see you next time.